Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever really considered what it means to be truly well-informed about something? Um, Something that sits right where our bodies, our identity, and just the incredible speed of technology all meet?
It's a really complex intersection.
It is. And today, we're embarking on a deep dive that does exactly that. We're going to explore how science fiction can give us this really powerful lens into very real-world questions about aging, what it means to be human, and, the appeal of technological upgrades.
And what's so fascinating here, I think, is how just one piece of literary analysis can pull together such diverse information. It really pushes us to think not just about what these technologies might do, but maybe more importantly, why they matter to how we understand ourselves.
Right. And our source for this.
Our source material for this deep dive comes from Miriam Fernández-Santiago, specifically her really insightful work. It's titled Female Aging and Technological Embodiment in Jasper Fforde's The Woman Who Died a Lot. And she also explores other really compelling topics like food futures in science fiction, which is hinted at in her work on grow guts and cultured eggs. We might touch on that a bit later.
Interesting. So our mission today is basically to pull out the most important, maybe the most mind-bending nuggets from this analysis. You get a shortcut, essentially, to understanding this complex mix of aging, gender, and technology, all through the, well, surprisingly engaging story of a fictional character.
Exactly.
So prepare for maybe some aha moments, because this is where it gets really interesting, where that line between fiction and our own future starts to blur.
It really does.
Okay, so let's start with the character at the center of this deep dive. Jasper Fforde's character, Thursday Next. The source material describes her, initially anyway, as quite ordinary. A 50-year-old woman, even described as having a lumpy body.
Uh-huh. Relatable, perhaps?
Maybe. But her journey is anything but ordinary, right?
Not at all. Her evolution, it's a really compelling case study for understanding these big concepts like posthumanism and transhumanism.
Okay, can you unpack those a bit? Posthumanism, transhumanism.
Sure. Think of them as frameworks that challenge our usual ideas of being human. Transhumanism suggests we can use technology to, enhance human abilities, basically upgrade ourselves within our current biology, better eyes, stronger muscles, that sort of thing.
Got it. Like enhancements.
Exactly. Posthumanism, though, it takes it a step further. It imagines maybe a completely new form of being where the definition of human might not even apply anymore.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And the text notes that sometimes transhumanist talk can overlook social nuances, but Fforde's work, through Thursday, explores all that complexity really beautifully. It grounds these big ideas.
So Thursday starts getting these upgrades or repairs throughout the series. And we're talking everything from physical enhancements to mental ones.
That's right.
The source mentions things like enhanced memory, better vision, stronger joints, even youthful skin. She goes from that lumpy body to looking younger.
Yes. Smooth skin, long fingernails, red hair, stronger teeth, perfect vision, sharp hearing. The works, really.
Sounds like the ultimate anti-aging package.
Yeah.
But what does this seemingly perfect transformation tell us about our own, maybe uncomfortable focus on youth?
Well, it definitely raises important questions, doesn't it? Fernández-Santiago highlights how Thursday's changes, they challenge the usual societal expectations around female aging and beauty. She moves from being ordinary towards what the analysis calls a superlative human. It's not just looking younger, it's redefining what's possible for the human body.
Right.
But here's a really key insight from the source document. Fforde portrays a version of Thursday Next that is heavily reliant on her various disabilities.
Relies on her disabilities. How does that work with upgrades?
It's this concept called narrative prosthesis. It means her perceived disabilities aren't just flaws to be fixed in the story, they're used deliberately by the author.
Oh, like a tool.
Exactly. A literary device that forces us, the readers, to question society's rigid ideas about what's normal or able-bodied. Thursday's so-called weaknesses actually become the lens Forde uses to critique our social norms. It shows these upgrades aren't simple fixes, they have complex implications.
That's a really interesting twist.
Yeah.
We usually think of upgrades as just better.
Right.
But it's not all smooth sailing for Thursday, is it? The source brings up something called the mind worm.
Ah, yes, the mind
What
worm.
neurological implant she gets, but it has major side effects, memory gaps, even personality changes.
That's right. Significant ones.
That's unsettling. It makes you wonder, If your memories are altered, are you still you? Does the analysis dig into that?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where the theory gets really personal, If our sense of self is tied so closely to our memories, which for most of us, it is then something like the mind worm forces us to ask what makes up a continuous identity.
Right.
The analysis points out that Thursday often forgot her original identity. That's profound. It's a powerful way to make you think about your own sense of self.
So the mind worm isn't just a plot device. It's part of that narrative prosthesis idea again.
Precisely. It uses this perceived flaw, this disability created by technology, to expose how fragile our sense of self might actually be, especially when faced with these advanced interventions. It asks, is identity just our collected experiences, or is there something more fundamental?
And it doesn't stop with Thursday's own identity, does it?
Mm-hmm.
The story pushes these questions into family, into legacy.
It does.
Thursday even has a synthetic reproduction, her daughter, Friday next. And the source notes Friday is explicitly described as better than Thursday.
Better.
So, wow. If we can engineer better versions of ourselves or our kids, what does that say about our current selves? What does it mean for family?
Well, this throws us right into the middle of current debates, doesn't it? Things like designer babies, enhancing future generations. The analysis actually points out something interesting here. The female cyborg's physical prowess often serves a critical cultural function within the still patriarchal means of production.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It suggests there's this tension, a tension between traditional values, maybe patriarchal ones, and this push for technological perfection, especially for female characters or figures. It challenges us to think about what we value. Is genetic or technological perfection always better? And what's the cost? To individuality, maybe to just natural life? It really mirrors real-world ethical discussions happening right now.
It really does. So Friday next is like the ultimate designer baby.
Yeah.
But does the source explore the potential downsides of that? Or is Friday's perfection presented as just good?
That's a great question.
Because it makes me think, what's normal anyway? If we can constantly improve ourselves with tech, does that automatically make our original state suboptimal?
And that is exactly the uncomfortable question that Fforde, through Fernández-Santiago's analysis, makes us confront. The source points out how disability is often seen as just a biological problem to be fixed. But through Thursday's experiences, it gets reframed. It's presented more as a social construct, something society defines. So it encourages us to think critically about those huge societal pressures, to conform to certain ideals of beauty, of ability. The analysis uses the term transhumanist discursivity, basically, the way we talk about human enhancement. It argues this way of talking can actually create a sense of normalcy that's really exclusive, really limiting.
Making anyone who doesn't fit feel less than.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It pushes us to see that our ideas of optimal or normal are often shaped by culture, not just biology.
That's a really important distinction. It shifts the focus from the individual flaw to society's sometimes narrow view. But let's go even deeper. Maybe the biggest question of all. What about the soul? The source mentions this directly. It ponders whether these technological enhancements or even entirely new bodies could still house a soul. And Thursday herself seems to believe her body, even the altered one, still contains her soul. What does that mean for us? For you listening?
This is where the literary analysis really hits something profound, I think. The source highlights that Fforde's story explores not just what tech changes are possible, but the why.
The motivation behind it.
Yes. Why do we chase these changes? What impact do they have on our sense of being? On that sort of intangible thing we might call the soul. It's a powerful invitation, really, to think beyond just the physical, to consider the deeper essence of self. And it shows how good literature, can shine a light on these huge ethical and philosophical questions we might actually face as technology races ahead.
It forces us to ask if there's a core you that technology can't actually touch or replace.
Right. What makes us fundamentally us beyond our physical form?
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? I mean, Thursday X lives in this fictional world, right? Literary police, time travel.
Definitely fictional.
But the questions her story brings up are incredibly relevant to our lives right now, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Just Think about the real-world obsession with anti-aging treatments. Cosmetic surgery is everywhere, AI is advancing like crazy, and we have serious discussions about genetic engineering.
That line between sci-fi and reality is getting thinner all the time.
Yeah.
And this deep dive really shows that literary analysis isn't just some academic exercise. It's a really powerful way to engage with these huge societal shifts, these ethical puzzles, the future of human identity. By exploring these fictional scenarios, like Thursdays, you get a deeper understanding of the conversations happening right now about our bodies, our minds, where tech is taking us.
And you mentioned Fernández-Santiago's other work, too, on food.
Yes. It connects interestingly. Just as Thursday Next makes us question modifying our bodies, Fernández-Santiago's work on things like grow guts and cultured eggs pushes us to think about how we might change eating itself.
Synthetic foods and all that.
Exactly. Asking similar questions. What's natural? What's optimized? What does that do to culture, to identity? It's all part of the same larger conversation about technology and humanity. Ultimately, it's about empowering you, the listener, to critically assess all the information coming at you every day. It gives you a framework.
Our deep dive into Thursday Next World, well, it's been a really captivating exploration, seeing how female aging, identity, technology all weave together. We've seen how one fictional character's journey can really push us to rethink what normal even means, challenge those ingrained beauty standards.
And question the nature of memory.
And even our souls, yeah.
We really hope this exploration has given you kind of shortcut to being well-informed on this whole fascinating topic. It really invites you, personally, to think about what parts of your own identity you see as truly fundamental.
Non-negotiable parts.
Exactly. How might you navigate a future where these kinds of profound technological changes aren't just possible, but maybe even normal, commonplace? What parts of you would you consider non-negotiable? Something to think about.